In Xenophon's famous classical Greek work, Anabasis, you hear of the story of 10,000 Greek warriors deep into enemy territory who had to fight their way back to the sea, back to safety. My brothers and sisters, I don't know about you, but this is kind of what this Easter means to me. It's not just the end of Lent. It's like almost like we're coming out of an entire season of what's coming next, of like looking for safety, thinking that we're done. It's not there yet. There's more to come. And truth be told, we're still not out of the woods with everything that's going on in the world today. But we can feel some sense that this trial is passing, much more so because of the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. At the time of a trial, one feels like your life is at risk. And then once you're pulling through the trial, it's like there's a new lease on life. It's like you feel that there's more value to what you see and to what you have. In Genesis chapter 29, verse 10 and 11, we read of how Jacob came to a well and saw his future bride, Rachel, and there something enraptured his heart. Life became fuller, and he was given strength, and he moved this stone from a well and watered the flocks and turned to her and kissed her and yelled out and cried. I mean, that's a full day, by any standard. But Jacob, at seeing his future bride, felt life have more value. And many of us in these days are coming together with family or reconnecting with family in a different way, knowing that there's some people who aren't with us this Easter, but at the same time are with us in the resurrection. But the people of Israel began at this well. Jacob became Israel, and the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 children of Jacob, became the foundation of salvation. At that same well, Jesus met this Samaritan woman, a woman who was living in sin, and when she encountered not water that would satiate her bodily thirst, but someone who would satiate her spiritual thirst, her life grew in meaning. And her view wasn't so much to kind of go from man to man, from sin to sin. It was, could this be the one that we are waiting for? The one that we are waiting for, my brothers and sisters, indeed has come. And today is the day where we celebrate the resurrection of this one. And in the gospel, we heard how another woman who was known for her sins came to a tomb, that the stone had been rolled away, but she didn't see it as a zest for life or a giving of strength. Her heart was filled with fear. And she ran to the disciples and she said, they've taken the Lord from the tomb and we don't know where they put him. And then the disciples, they started running. And St. John was leaving St. Peter in his dust. He was dusting the old man, but he waited at the entrance of the tomb for Peter to arrive, always a symbol of respect of the elders, respect for papal authority. And then they went in. But they went away not fully understanding what was happening. My brothers and sisters, I don't know what type of year you've had, but I'm willing to bet that you went from trial to trial, from difficulty to difficulty, and just when you thought you were about to break out of this, something else happened. I don't know what your Lent was like, but I do know what the resurrection means. Mary Magdalene stayed at the tomb, weeping, and in her grief, she couldn't move. But she brought her grief to the tomb, and that is where she had an encounter with the Lord. Why are you weeping? Because they've taken my Lord. Mary, just give him back. If you've taken him, give him back to me. She still was not understanding. Mary, Jesus said. and she recognized him. In our grief, in our trial, in the challenge of life, be it at the well of the family, be it at the well of our own sin, or be it at our own lack of understanding of the meaning of the resurrection, know that the Lord is giving you the grace to continue on, because the power of his resurrection is alive and wants to be more alive in you. So just as those 10,000 Greek warriors that fought their way to safety, so too the Lord is calling you on this Easter to be a bringer of his light and his joy in this Easter season. My brothers and sisters, Jesus Christ is risen. Glorify him.